Are you tired of living out of a chest for the first 20 Minecraft days? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 3 starter houses you can build before you get your first set of iron armor. So hit that subscribe button for me, and let's begin. Starting off, this is house number 1 that I built in the plains biome. So let's do a quick tour. So here we have the front entrance on this side with a little bit of decoration here and a nice doorway. Coming along the side, we have some storage and some utility blocks here. And then we come around the back side, we have a carrot farm, a back door, and a little pile of storage and hay right here. And then on the final side here, we have our chimney with the bricks going through the wall. And of course, scattered throughout, we have a bunch of decorations such as vegetation, trapdoors, potted plants. That is the exterior of our little house. Let's quickly go over the interior. So coming through the front door, we have a crafting area right here. Anvil, grindstone. We have some storage with some barrels here. We have some smokers above our fireplace. I think that made the most sense. Looking up here on the top tier shelf, we have some more storage, furnaces, even some blast furnaces, and armor stand for decoration, and a smithing table right there. And then we did a little split leveling here, so we have a ladder on some barrels that we can go up, and then we have access to a bed and some extra storage and another crafting table right here. So very tight space, but we still try to get as much as we can with it. All right, so how to build the plains house. So let's start with the frame. So we can start on one corner here and place down a pillar. Then we have 5 blocks in between going across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We place a block right there. And then on the side, we have 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then a pillar, and then a pillar right there. And then what we did is we added an extension bit right over here. That's 3 wide. So these are our 3 in the center. And then we came out 2 blocks. So 1, 2, and then we place a block right there. 1, 2, 3, boom. And that is the base shape of the house. And now we can go ahead and add in the pillars. So we're going to add 3 blocks to all of these. And then we're going to connect them at this level right here. And now for these, we can just simply connect it just like that until they meet. And then we'll connect this side as well. And then I add the little bits sticking out. Now for these corner pieces, I'm just going to add it on this one right here, and the same for that one. But for the rest, we'll add it on both sides. Now we can start with the roof. So what I did actually for this side was I used trap doors to align it on the bottom here. And let's place one just like that. And then we went ahead and did our stairs. We simply just go with stairs upside down until we meet in the center. Then we go upside down. And then we actually just did slabs for the top portion for our peak line. And now we're gonna do the same thing here. So then we go upside down and slab. So there's that. And now we can connect this side right here. So again, we're gonna do the trap door. And then we'll do this side. And these will connect just like so. And then we can connect the frame out here. We just connect the outer bits. And yeah, and we're adding a dormer on this side because we just don't want to have a flat looking roof here. So right here, we can start curving it out. Just like so. And then we just connect these as well. There we go. And then we just go in with our slabs, cross, until these connect. All of our pillars sticking out, we can add our stone buttons real quick. And now what I did was I used unstripped oak logs to kind of mix up these pillars a little bit. You know, maybe add in some variation. They look very similar. There we go, just like that. All right, and now we can fill in our roof with a combination of deep slate brick stairs and cobbled deep slate stairs. So we can just pretty much fill this in, whatever pattern you would like. Just mix it up randomly like I do. All right, and there is our roof complete. And something cool that I did is I added a spruce sign right on these little peak lines. I think it adds for a nice little touch. And now we can simply fill in the walls. So what I did was I actually went with almost like a trim piece along the bottom with some andesite and cobblestone. Just going along the bottom, we can just add this. A texture of both, of course, and then we throw those in. This will be our doorway, so we can put a block there, and then we'll have another doorway right here. And then we can fill in the rest with our stripped birch log. And then we can cut out the windows, so we'll have a window there, doorway, and this will be the fireplace. And then we can throw it in here as well. And here we have a window, just like that. I'm breaking 2 of these because there's going to be a stair block above it as well. All right, now we can get our birch stair. Throw it in right there. This one will be our chimney, so we're not going to have anything there. Stair block, and this just adds some depth for our windows, our doorways. There we go. Now we can place our doors in just like so. And I used fence for all of the windows here, so we'll place our fence block in. And then what I did on the sides, I simply just used some trap doors, added some lanterns. You can add trap doors here, maybe another lantern there. And then the front side as well. And for the back, you can do something like that. You can decorate however you please. And then you can build a little chimney on this side however you want. Just have it going up along this wall. Let's say it actually goes up into this block, and let's say this part goes there. Kind of make whatever shape you guys would like, maybe even a wall block here. And then it looks like it almost goes into the wall, and then you can pop it out wherever you would like. Maybe these two we can break. Maybe this can be a stair block, and then it could just pop out right over there. You can even put a slab on there, add some depth, and then we'll throw in the campfire with some trapdoors. And you can texture this however you want. I use granite, polished granite, and all that. And of course, the flower pot right on top. There we go. I'm not going to texture it there, but you guys can definitely texture it. You can even add detail. Add a little potted plant there, maybe some trap doors, make it look more secure. Maybe like one here. Definitely up to you. You can even add some leaves in the roof. I like to do that sometimes to make it look a little overgrown. Like break some of these, place leaf blocks in there. Maybe like one here. You can even do this like along the walls here. Like we can even get rid of this. Have like a little leaf thing going down. Just make the build look a little bit more overgrown. And yeah, that's pretty much the base of it. And just to show you guys how I do those little entryways, we just put a slab right here, trapdoor on each side, and then we can put in a fence block like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get wall blocks of the cobble and andesite, and we can throw those around as well. So we can put like that there for the entryway. And I like to add these because these create almost like a support system around the build. So I'm actually going to use oak fence, so it contrasts against our wood here. But what we can do is we can simply do 2 oak fence all the way across on every pillar. Except for these ones, because we have our doorway here. I wouldn't want these fences to connect right there. And then we just go along and place the andesite and the cobble walls. We're just going to alternate them. And that creates a little bit of a support structure around the house. I think this can look pretty awesome. And then you can do whatever you want. You can place like little planter boxes there. Maybe use some trap doors to kind of cover it up. Plant whatever you would like in there. Maybe even add a potted plant. You can even use leaves. Place some like across here. You can place chests, barrels, whatever you would like. When it comes to the interior, I kept it pretty simple. You can just go with this striped floor design here. I think deep slate would even look nice on this first floor. You can go with spruce. It's whatever you guys really want. And there we go. That's our floor. And then let's actually grab a stair block. Put a lantern there. Now you can leave it kind of like this, or you can close it off. I like to close it off with the stair blocks. Just kind of rounds everything out. Just like so. And these little empty bits, you can cover those up just like that. Or you can make those like barrels or bookshelves, whatever you would like. You can even cover these bits with a block or a trapdoor. And there you go. You guys can do whatever you want with this interior. And then as you decorate the outside, you can have whatever you would like. Potted plants, leaves, decorations, chimneys, whatever. Pathways, and even farms. So that's how you build the Plains house. And once you add all the details, it can look something like this. So be creative and have fun with it. All right, and here's house number 2 in the Taiga. So with this build, I went with a dark fantasy design here. We have a bunch of spruce wood around and some deep slate, as well as dark oak for the roof. So in the front, we have a little doorway with a bunch of decorations, as you can see. And in the front here, we have a beetroot farm. Coming around this way, we have a little side entrance right here, connected to our farm. And then coming around the back side, we just have some various decorations. And then we have a little horse stable back here, connected to the house. And then the final side is, of course, our chimney, which goes all the way up to here. We have a bunch of decorations around, leaves, potted plants, trapdoors, lanterns, chest, and whatever else you guys would like to add for decorations. So coming inside the house, it's a little tight in here, but we still try to fit in as much as we could. Right here we have our fireplace, plus plenty of storage, as well as some smokers. A jukebox right here, crafting, little armor stand for decoration, some furnaces, even some blast furnaces back there. We have some extra storage with a chest, some barrels. We have a little work area here with a smithing table, grindstone, and a stone cutter, as well as a hidden chest down there as well. So that's the first floor. And this, of course, is our little side entrance right here. And then coming up this ladder, we have our second floor, which we have a little cartography table area here, some extra storage, our bed with some even more storage, just like that. I think this is a great block palette for those more darker fantasy type of builds. They look really great in taiga biomes. It's actually a lot simpler than you guys think. So with the frame, 2 little 3x3 areas. So we'll start with a pillar there. After 3 blocks, we'll place another pillar, another 3. We just create a little grid like so. And then we're literally just going to repeat the same step, but just move it back a block. So starting from here, 1, 2, 3. Here, 1, 2, 3. And then you get the picture. So there we go. That's literally how the frame is going to be. And now we're going to go up 3 more blocks for all of them. And now we're going to connect everything going across. And now we're going to add in our bits that stick out, just like so. And then we can add our button on top of every single one of these. There we go. So now we have our spruce log frame in. And then we can fill in all of the walls with, I use a combination of stripped spruce and spruce planks. So we can just fill this in everywhere. And if you don't want this build to be so tight, what you can do actually is extend this piece out 2 more blocks. So make this like 5 wide. And then this, it'll pretty much be like a mirror image of this side on that side. But I wanted to go for something unique. So it's a little bit smaller, but it gives us a more unique shape. And then we're going to cut out our front door, which will go right here. Let's actually grab our stair block. So front door will go here. We'll have a window right there. This will be our fireplace. Have another window here. This will be another door and then a window. And then we can place our stair upside down all the way around. And then we can further texture by adding some spruce planks like that. Maybe one there. And there you go. And then for the floor, you can simply do whatever you would like. I think I did the spruce going across like this. And then I use the planks on the edges, just like so. There is our flooring in. Now we can go ahead and add the roof. So we went with a tall style of roof for the front right here. And then we did a pretty normal sized one on this side. So let's start with the tall section. So we're going to start with our slabs. Okay, so this will have to be deleted. We start with our slabs, then we go into our stair, into the upside down stair, and then a full block after that. And then we repeat. So we go stair, upside down, full block, stair, and you get the pictures. So we do that until we meet in the center, and then we throw in an upside down, a regular, and then we'll do one of these. And what I like to do on this is I like to add a little trap door on top. Just gives it a little bit more depth. But that's pretty much our roof right there. Then we can complete the peak line and do the same thing on this side. So for this one, it's going to be a little bit different, but we can just start by creating this side first. And then I'll show you guys how we can connect this all together. So now this will be the upside down, then right there. All right, and before I create this one going down here, let's do this side first. So this one, I didn't go with the tall roof at all. I just went with the regular. So we simply just use stairs until we connect. Awesome. And then we can add in our peak line. So we get to about here. Now let's connect all the empty gaps. So of course, we're going to throw in 2 slabs right there. We're going to connect these all the way, just like so. And here we're going to add a dormer. So we're going to add in the slabs right there. And I think we're going to make this a taller one. Yep. So actually, I think we're going to have to start it here. So we'll go there. We'll go upside down stairs on both sides. And then we'll go with full block, stair. And then this will be our little dormer right here. Just like that. And then our trapdoor. Now we probably can get rid of these 2 slabs. We'll figure something out for that later. And then let's go ahead and connect this part going across. And yeah, we can begin with this side. So pretty much let's imagine that there's a log here for now. Probably will be like that, but let's just put that there. And what's going to happen is there's going to be an upside down stair here. I'm going to delete this one. That was temporary. Because now this is going to have to fade into the regular roof line. So now we'll have a full block. And then we'll just continue until it meets in the middle. There we go. So that's pretty much the frame laid out. And what I like to do now is under our peak line, just add our little pillars. Yeah, that's the frame of the roof complete. I think we can add one more there. Yeah, that should be good. And then we can fill out the walls up here as well. So I'll just use the spruce again. And don't forget about this one right here. And then we can punch out our windows actually. So we're gonna have a window like right here. We can add in some spruce around some planks. I don't think there's gonna be a window here. I think we can possibly put a window here, but you don't have to. Let's actually throw one there. Definitely going to be a window here. Let's throw in some planks wherever we can. Oops. All right. And then here we're going to fill in the rest of the roof. So we are going to use dark oak for the rest of the roof, just to get a different color in here. So we're going to go ahead and use the planks and the stairs. Let's go ahead and start with our stairs going across on this side. And then we have our full planks going across. Full plank there, and then stair, stair. Full plank, stair, stair. There we go. That's all connected. And this side of the wall will have the chimney going up. And it'll come out of this side right here of the house. Let me show you guys how we can blend this all together now. So here, let's do this side first. We have our planks going across. There we go. And now this can connect all the way. I'm going to do that first before I add in the rest. Okay, let's connect this one first. There we go. since we have a little bit of a, kind of a blank area of the roof here, we're going to create a mini dormer right here. So we're going to break this block, and we're going to break these two as well. And let's actually throw in some sort of a wall block underneath temporarily. Now we can put stairs facing out on each side, and then we can place a slab right on top. And that creates a little dormer, and then we can use like a fence as like a window, just like that. And we'll do that on this side as well. And yeah, there's our roof all complete, and of course we're gonna have to put a button right there. Let's add in all of our detailing blocks, so we can add these little bits that secure the outside area, and for the door we'll do our little frame again. All right, we add these little support pillars on the side of the build, and then we'll connect it all up. And I'm using the spruce fence here to contrast against the unstripped spruce log. And then right here, here is where I would use dark oak. So if we go with dark oak and then trap doors and a slab, you can have a little doorway just like that. But let's continue to connect these on every side. There we go. We have our little support structures right there. And now we can connect all these horizontal bits, and we can throw some light around the build. This will be our chimney, so we're not going to touch that just yet. Throw these around. This is where I had the stable, but you guys can add it wherever you would like. And I forgot to fill out the wall here on this side. This can be a window as well. All right, and there's our little lantern right there. All right, and I did something cool with these little dormers here. I added in the dark oak trapdoors to create almost like a unique shaped roof, just like that. And then I used the spruce trapdoors just like so. And I think that looks a lot more sturdy, a lot more like a dedicated dormer right there with some depth. And then just put some trapdoors along the windows here to serve as shutters. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the dark oak fence. This is to create contrast, of course, but we'll use the dark oak fences for all the walls that have spruce, just like that. So dark oak there, dark oak, dark oak. There we go. And then we can create our little window shutters everywhere, even on this side. And then you guys can detail this however you would like. What I like to do is I like to put this dark oak fence gate right up here, serve as like a little support beam. Right over there is good. You can put one here. You can put one there. And you can throw in leaves anywhere. I use the dark oak doors to create contrast from the wall, just like that. And if you look at it from the outside, it creates even more contrasts from the dark brown to the regular colored brown. And what I like to do is I like to add leaves everywhere. You know, you can throw some like right here, maybe like a bush on this side. In our original, we had like a farm here with some barrels and storage. The possibilities are truly endless. You can add some up here. I would definitely add leaves to the top portion just to create some more visual interest up here. And as for the chimney, I actually used stone blocks to create it. So let me just get some of those, and we can create this like kind of unique shape like that. Maybe like an upside down stair there, or even like a wall here. Let's see, let's put a wall there actually. And then upside down stair and a slab, maybe create some like weird looking shape like that. And this can pop out like anywhere, probably like right here. Maybe even go into that block. We can use a wall block, connect it just like that. And you can texture this with cobble, andesite, clean stone, whatever you think looks best. There we go. We have a little chimney there. You can decorate it. Add some trapdoors here, pots, buttons, whatever you would like. Another cool trick I did to add detail is I used these dark oak signs kind of going across on all these solid blocks along the roof, like these. Just another way to create a little bit more depth. just on all the solid blocks, not on any of the stair blocks. Yeah, and that alone adds a lot more, as you can see, to the build. And yeah, you guys can continue to decorate this however you wish. And of course, after I added all the decorations, this was the final result. And for the interior, you just add in a floor. You can add in a second floor, just like that. Pretty simple, guys. But I think this build came out really nice. I love the dark fantasy theme and the darker color palette. It came out really great. And that's it for this one. On to the next house. All right, and last but not least, we have a house in a mountain biome. And I wanted to go with a very unique style right here. So we even added a little pond on the outside with the waterfall for some added decoration. And then we have a little walkway that comes all the way up to our house, just like that, with the side entrance right over there. But looking at the exterior, we have a giant centerpiece window right there, and plenty of detail to frame out this little section here. We have some vegetation and leaves along the bottom, and then we built a little support system right here that connects it into the mountain. Plenty of detailing with slabs, trapdoors, whatnot. And then we have our roof, which we made out of stone with the trim, and then using the spruce wood for the inside, as well as a chimney right over here. And that is the outside of our mountain home. Now, as we walk up the steps to our little doorway, we have a little storage pile right here. And then we can enter the house just like so. So here we kind of have everything in one open space. I even threw the bed in a little corner here. What's nice about these mountain homes is that you can break into some of the walls and get some added space. We even put our furnaces and our barrels in the walls themselves. And then we have various blocks around, such as chest up here, crafting table, smithing table, and whatever else you guys want to add. And then in this corner, we just put a potted plant, and we have another chest up here as well as a grindstone up there. But then we come up the ladder, and we have some extra blocks over here as well. Just for some decoration, we put some bookshelves on the wall, cartography table. There's our grindstone again. We have a loom and some extra storage as well. You can even put your bed up here or whatever else. But with these types of houses, you can expand them into the wall as much or as little as you would like. So the size of the interior could be as large as you want it to be. And here's our grand view of our mountain biome. And these are pretty awesome and easy first houses to build. And there we have it. All right, now to build our mountain house, we want to find a cliffside. Now it's important to not make the house too low to the ground, especially if you want to have a nice view. You want to be somewhere either in the middle or the top of the mountain. So I'll do it right here on this kind of flat surface. So let's start with the bottom pillar. Now it's up to you depending on how much you want the house to extrude out of the wall. I think I did about 3 blocks. So let's start with the frame. We'll start with our spruce logs. We'll come out about 4 blocks here. And then on this block, we will build up by 3. And then right on top of that, we can do the same thing. Just have pillars going up just like that. And then as for the width, we go across 5 blocks from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we just repeat the same steps as before right there. 1, 2, 3, and then just like that. And then we're obviously going to connect the bottom part as well. And then we have our frame. So also these logs that are sticking out, we can include these on the side as well. And now we can start on our roof line. So with this roof, I actually mixed both slabs and stairs. So we start off with slabs. We always place them flush on our logs, and then we will go across and we go up by 1 every single time. And then on this one, we'll start implementing the stairs, and we can do the same thing on this side. And we start going with the stairs, upside down stair into regular until we meet in the middle. And then we throw an upside down just like that. And then here you can either do upside down like this, or you can just go with slabs. It's totally up to you. I believe I went with slabs, but we can try something different. So let's actually try this more bold design. And then we just create our peak line of our roof, which is like this. In this case, I'll actually alternate slabs and stairs until we reach the wall. And then we just want to finish up the frame of our roof. So like that. And then we'll put a slab right there to kind of surround this pillar, make it look like it's secured. There we go. That's the frame of the house complete. Now we can go ahead and add in the walls. So of course we're going to have a large window. And then when you fill in the wall on this side, Just want to cover up this empty space. So go across until it's all covered, and then go across again until it's all covered. And then what I like to do underneath the peak line, I like to add in our pillar block again, just to flatten out the interior roof whenever we get there. Now we can fill in the roof with spruce blocks. So we use spruce stairs and regular blocks as well. Just throw those in just like so, both sides, and then we have stairs. And feel free to terraform the mountain however you want. I'm actually not going to terraform it at all. I just want it to look as natural as possible. And there is the base frame of our house. Now, another thing I like to do on these little pillars that stick out, I love to put buttons on there. They look like little rivets. You can use whatever you want, but in this case, I will use stone. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like to connect all the areas in between our pillars. So vertically, we can start by adding wall blocks right here. Then we can connect centers with fence. And then horizontally, you can go from slab to trapdoor, just like that. And I'll even do the reverse almost on this side. That adds a lot of detail already. And what I did to make it look more secure, I added trapdoors like that to make the wall blocks look a little bit more sturdy. Now, the one thing I added was almost like a support beam going down the bottom. There's a bunch of ways to do this. Pretty much just use wall blocks going down like this until we met in the center. And then I surrounded it with trapdoors to make it look wide and rigid. Now we just add our side trapdoors to make it look rigid. And I believe I added some underneath as well. There we go. And that's it. That is our base frame of the house. Now you can decorate this however. I mixed both the glass block and the pane, just like this, to create some depth. And then you can decorate this however you want. Maybe you can add like another lantern here. I added in some leaves on the bottom side to kind of fill it out, make it look very lush. I remember I added a little pond underneath with a waterfall. Totally up to you guys. And if you would like, you can start to texture some of these blocks. So if you would like to texture this wall here, you can add in some oak planks every now and then. So let's put one there, maybe one there. And we can throw one like here and here, just to add some texture. And even with the roof, I added texture in all the wall blocks. As you can see, I used all stone brick in this one, but in the original, I mixed in some cobble and some andesite. And now we can mix these around. So let's put like, andesite there. Let's put a cobble there. We can put a cobble here. We can put an andesite there. Maybe another andesite here. Oops. And that mixes up your block palette. Add some texture. You can throw in like a cobble there. That's looking awesome. And now we can make our chimney. This can go anywhere really. But I'm going to use stone brick. Let's use the cracked stone brick even. Maybe cobble and some andesite. Remember, I made it on this side before. Let's make it somewhere else. Let's put it like right over here. We're going to break this block. And then we're going to go from our cracked stone brick maybe to like a piece of cobble, andesite, and then like a regular stone brick. That can be our simple chimney. Then we just grab a campfire and then a trap door. Place that on top and then surround it. And to detail the chimney, I like to add, a little trapdoor maybe on this side, maybe one over here. And I also like to add spruce buttons or some sort. And then you can either add like a lightning rod or a pot on top. So that's what the lightning rod looks like. It's also a great way to protect your home from fire. But I think the pot looks a little bit better. And there we have our chimney and our frame built out. Now we can start decorating a little bit. Maybe we can place some potted plants around, put one here. I don't know, we can put one maybe like over there as well. And then I believe I decorated as well with some buttons and some trap doors. I did something like this. I placed these just as decoration, kept it pretty simple. And now that's pretty much the exterior done. You can even add like some trapdoors under here to kind of frame out your plants. Totally up to you. We got to figure out where the door is going to be. So because the mountain is a little bit in our way on this side, let's put the door on this side again, like we did before. We can cut away some of this mountain here. Maybe make this the door. You can also put in your flooring now and even cut out the space that you would like. So let's go ahead and, cut away some area here. All right, now we can start with our floor. I simply went with the spruce flooring with our logs alternating with our planks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And throw in our logs. Every other. And then we can throw in spruce planks in between. You guys can make this as large as possible, whatever you guys need. So let's continue these pillars going across as well. And now let's fix the ceiling real quick. I like to add these spruce stairs underneath what we currently have. Just like that. And then we can do the same thing right there and kind of clean that up a bit. And then we can continue our little log line right there. And let's go ahead and clean this up too. So we throw in our stairs. This curves out our ceiling. Makes it look very clean. And now for the walls, you guys can do whatever you want. Seriously, I like to use terracotta if it's around. You can add some nice color in here. Now something cool I like to do is add almost like a wall trim. You can use composters or even barrels. Let's see how it looks with the composter since we already have kind of the spruce wood look around everywhere. So we'll put that right about here. And this is just like the frame of the wall. Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to deal with that. All right, so here's a little trim right there. And then what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna have these spruce pillars kind of striped going down. And then in between, we'll throw in like a color. All right, and then we can of course hang our lanterns. Maybe like we'll hang one here and then we'll hang one here just to get some light in here. It's super dark. Now let's choose a color of terracotta, whatever you guys like. You can go with red, maybe. Actually, let's go with the cool color. Let's try this blue terracotta. Just to add some variation. This will be our doorway right there. And we can add this in. And that's a great way to add a little splash of color. And now you guys can do whatever you want in here. Put in a door of your choosing. You can throw that in. And then there you have it. You have a little interior, custom colors. You can make it as large or as small as you need. You can do the little split leveling design that I did. If you want to make this taller going into the mountain, you can definitely do that as well. The possibilities are really endless, guys. And the last thing that you would need, of course, is a way to get up here. So you can create a little walkway with some stairs and such going all the way down. You can even just have a simple ladder system going up. But that's pretty much how you build the mountain house. And if you want to hide this wallpaper, I would just use leaves. You can throw in these leaves every now and then. They can easily hide that if you don't want it to be visible from the outside. Maybe even here. You can make this like almost a potted plant. Just like that. And that's a good way to hide the wallpaper if you don't want to see it from the outside. And there we have it. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you like this style of video and let me know if you guys would like more. I can do a starter house for every biome. Thank you guys so much again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join my Discord. We're going to have an SMP server going up very soon. It's going to be great. Link in the description below. That's all I have for you guys this time. Take care. Peace.